So there are a fair number of excellent looking first-person shooters coming out in 2025. Some big, well-known titles, some smaller, lesser-known titles, and then there's quite a few in between. One call-out is that if you don't see a particular game on the list, like let's say Outer Wilds 2, it's likely because it's going to end up on another list. For this list, I really just tried to stick to more straightforward shooters, although there is obviously some gray area as many people are throwing survival systems, loot, RPG elements into their games. Also, if you liked the video, maybe like or subscribe, it really helps massively. Let's get started with 10 of the best looking first-person shooters coming in 2025, and then a few bonuses at the end. And as always, remember, this list is highly subjective, it's what I decided to put on the list. So let's just get started with the obvious one. Doom: The Dark Ages. It looks incredible. It is ridiculous and over the top in the best possible way. It still looks fast, but maybe not quite as fast as Eternal. Instead of a futuristic setting for everyone's favorite Slayer to be ripping and tearing through, we've actually got a medieval fantasy world. We have dragons, we have giant mech suits, you get a shield that has a saw blade on it. I'm not sure what else you could ask for. I do know there's still some drama around the music, Mick Gordon, and id. My personal take is that the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, and there's probably blame to go around. Regardless, the music from the trailers does sound pretty great, at least to me. Overall, this is probably the safest bet of any game on this list, and it just recently got a release date coming May 14th, 2025 to console and PC. Also worth noting, this will be on Game Pass. Next up, a unique looking indie that I've had my eye on for a while, Mouse PI for Hire. This is obviously drawing heavy inspiration from the old Mickey Mouse cartoons in terms of presentation, and to a point you could almost probably call it parody. Regardless, this looks incredibly unique with some great visuals and music. The animations look fantastic, combat looks fast and fun with a lot of movement. This is coming sometime in 2025 to PC and consoles, including Switch. While most of this list consists of PC titles, I feel like I can't at least mention Metroid Prime 4. My only experience with the series is Super Metroid, and watching this trailer has me thinking about trying to pick up the remaster of the original Metroid Prime. This looks great. I am guessing this is either going to be a launch title for the Switch 2 or very close to launch. Hopefully the Switch 2 will actually be able to get this at a decent frame rate, which should make it a lot more enjoyable. Right now this game is listed as 2025, but I would expect this to come sometime at or around the time of the Switch 2. But hey, could be wrong. Next, let's talk about one that's a little different, with Splitgate 2, which has a release date of sometime in 2025. I at least missed the original Splitgate. I heard chatter, but I was playing other things at the time, and it just kind of came and went before I got a chance to play it. Unfortunately, in my opinion, multiplayer games like this are best experienced in those early days, so this time I intend on trying to get in closer to launch. Splitgate 2, like the original, looks like a mashup of Halo and Portal. The play spaces and the verticality bring back memories of Unreal Tournament for me. This is listed as being free to play just like the original, and as I mentioned, coming sometime in 2025 to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Okay, number 5 on the list is either ExeKiller or ExeKiller. I'm guessing it's the latter, but I'm not sure. Either way, this definitely looks indie, and even from the trailers, looks like it could use some polish. But the unique 80s visuals with the Western twist looks great in my opinion. This looks like it has some Fallout inspiration, and is apparently a semi-open world with gameplay designed around choices that will impact the world and your playthrough. It apparently does not feature a leveling up system, instead relying on mods and tech upgrades to weapons, but it does focus heavily on story dialogue and choices from the sounds of it. This is coming in 2025 to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Next up is another indie that I got a chance to play a demo for during a Next Fest in the last year or two. This is Agent 64 Spies Never Die. Straight up, this is a GoldenEye clone. The gameplay, at least that I have seen and what I've played during Next Fest, is 100% GoldenEye, down to the auto-aiming, the movement, the animations. It just screams GoldenEye. The one thing I will say is that when I played the demo, I found myself wondering if the commitment to feeling like the original GoldenEye didn't go a bit too far. I love GoldenEye, and there are only 2 games that I've likely put more hours into, which is World of Warcraft and Diablo 2. Other than those 2, GoldenEye easily takes that number 3 spot. I absolutely love the game, I still have nostalgia for the game, and I enjoy it when I revisit it. But it is also a game that if I ever do a revisit video and I go back to it, I doubt I would ever tell anyone to play it if they missed it originally. And that's because GoldenEye played great considering the controller and the console capabilities at the time, but those controls don't really feel good today. That said, I just finished watching the trailer again, and this looks so good. So we will see. This is listed on Steam as coming sometime in 2025. So I've been naming off games inspired by older shooters, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. Let's talk about SWAT Commander. This is very clearly trying to pick up where the old Rainbow Six games stopped. You choose loadouts and manage a squad, issuing orders to complete missions. This looks really good visually, and if handled properly, could give people a taste of something that they have not experienced in quite a while. I love seeing developers fill gaps from the AAA industry that they're just choosing not to fill, targeting those semi-niche audiences that love a thing that they can no longer get. It's also worth noting that this game is listed as having co-op. This also just has a 2025 release date, and it looks like it will initially enter early access. So, something to keep in mind. Okay, number 8 on the list is another multiplayer shooter that I just have to talk about. That is FBC Firebreak. This is a co-op multiplayer FPS from Remedy, set in the Control universe. The locations on display very much look to be ripped straight from Control, or maybe the sequel. Enemies look very similar as well. I strongly suspect this game is a way to reuse assets in a different way in order to increase profit margins. And honestly, I'm fine with that. Overall, Remedy make really unique games, and they don't sell incredibly well. Although they could sell better if they weren't signing exclusivity deals with Epic for things like Alan Wake 2. Anyway, this does look like fun from the trailers. I don't think we really know enough about it yet to make a call on if it's going to be good or not, but looking forward to trying it out when it releases in 2025. Like many others on this list, it's coming to PC and console. It is also confirmed to release on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, which could give it a nice foundation to build off of. Next, something different but the same, this is Jump Ship. It is another co-op FPS that is mission-based. What makes this game different is that you are basically joining a crew to pilot a ship on your missions to earn rewards and resources. You have to maintain your ship, and then ship combat and piloting appear to be a fair amount of the gameplay. Overall, this looks like a really fun mix between FPS and team-based ship combat. And while you can play it solo, this definitely looks like a game you're going to want to play with others. I do find myself wondering how it plays in a smaller group, or if you play with strangers. Again, this one is coming sometime in 2025, and it will be starting out in early access. Last on the main list is the game I'm actually looking forward to the most, and that is Judas. Judas comes from Ken Levine, creative director behind System Shock 2, BioShock, BioShock Infinite. This is basically BioShock but as a roguelite. The world seems strange and intriguing like BioShock, with interesting morally complex characters. It seems like you'll have some choices in who you work with at different points, which will have an impact on the story and world. Essentially, if you liked any of the BioShock games, this should be on your radar. The Friends Per Second podcast had a great interview with Ken Levine and had hands-on with the game that is well worth watching if you haven't seen it. I believe right now Judas is confirmed for Q1 2025, so we'll see if it actually hits that date. Okay, so that's the main list, but honestly, I couldn't stop there. There are a few others that I at least need to call out, 2 of which would have easily made the main list if they had a more firm release date. So let's quickly cover 5 bonus titles. First, Dying Light: The Beast, which is coming in 2025. The only reason this didn't make the main list is because I likely won't play it. The parkour in these, unfortunately, makes me a bit nauseous. I've tried a couple of times, I just can't do it. For those that are not bothered by such things, this looks to be great, coming in 2025 to PC and consoles. Second on the list is Clockwork Revolution. This one is speculated to be coming in 2025, but again, there's really no firm release date. This comes from In Exile, makers of the Wasteland series, among other things. This is a steampunk game giving off some serious BioShock vibes. This one does note having some RPG elements, so maybe it would have been better off on another list, but either way, it's here now. Really looking forward to this one, and it's coming to PC and Xbox. It will also be on Game Pass. Next one is one I'm looking forward to, and it may or may not hit 2025, and that is Perfect Dark. This is coming from The Initiative, a new studio Xbox set up to bring the series back. Gameplay was shown off last year, and it looks good, albeit heavily scripted. Still, I think they're nailing the tone here, and what they did show off gameplay-wise looks fun to me. It seems to rely heavily on gadgets and could end up being fantastic. Or terrible. But hopefully the former. Would love to see this series make its way back. Obviously, this is another one that'll hit Game Pass whenever it does release. Second to last is a game I almost didn't include at all, but every time I would watch the trailer, I thought, that does look like fun. This is AFTERBlast, and it seems to draw very clear inspiration from Risk of Rain 2, and I think that's great. Risk of Rain 2 was great, and the world could use more games like it. Last on the list, I'm not sure how it's actually going to land, but I'm super interested to see how it turns out. That game is Unrecord. This is the original game to show the body cam style visuals that you couldn't quite tell if it was FMV or actually gameplay. I read somewhere this is actually coming in 2025, but the Steam page still has no date. Either way, whenever it does come, it'll be really interesting to see how it actually plays and what it even really is. And with that, I'll leave it there. 15 total FPS games to look forward to, most theoretically coming in 2025. There will be another list, as I mentioned, to tackle some of those other games like Outer Wilds 2, Atomfall, Cuff Bust, all first person, but they have other genre elements that kind of kept them off this particular list. So what are you looking forward to? What did I miss? And if you liked the video, consider liking or subscribing. As I said, it helps the channel massively. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.